All right. Can you imagine if Ninja got a low taper fade? No, I get low taper fades. Or no, I get high taper fades. When I cut my hair. I don't know, like the fade looks nice for like, I don't know, a week or two, and then it's just like I have black hair, and then it just looks like black hair. You know what I mean? Just like on the side. All right. Jumping back into learning functional program. You're using Python? Okay, so we're using Python because we know Python, not because it's the most optimal language for this, but okay.
Functions as values. In Python, functions are just values, like strings, integers, or objects. For example, we can assign an existing function to a variable, def add xy, return x plus y, assign the function to a new variable, called addition. It behaves the same as the original add function. Addition equals add printdition25, 7. Assignment. With the popularity of generative AI, like ChatGPT, we need to be able to convert files into pure text to be injected into prompts. Complete the file-to-prompt function. It should take a file dictionary and a toString function as inputs and return a formatted string. The provided toString function is responsible for converting the file dictionary into a string. You don't need to implement it, it's a value passed to your function. However, your function should wrap the result of the toString function in triple backticks to format it as a code block in Markdown. For example, an example string should become an example string. Tips. Notice the two new lines in the example above. You don't need a trailing new line, but you do need the two new lines between the triple backticks. You can achieve this by using the new line escape character. Here's an example. pyprint, I wish the ring had never come to me, and I wish none of this had happened, becomes, I wish the ring had never come to me. I wish none of this had happened.
See, this is what I was trying to figure out before. And I saw people putting like \n, but I didn't know it had to abut the text. No white space. Okay. Popularity of generative AI like ChatGPT, we need to be able to convert files into pure text injected into prompts. Complete the file prompt function. It should take a file dictionary and a toString function as inputs and return the formatted string. The provided toString function is responsible for converting the file dictionary into a string. You don't need to implement it, it's just passed to your function. However, your function should wrap the result of the string function in triple brackets -- or is that what? I don't know what it's called. To format it as code block markdown. Sorry, I'm flashbang you. And the word or phrase you want to denote as code includes one of the backticks. You can escape it by enclosing or phrase in double backticks. Okay. For example, an example string should become -- an example string -- Tap. Notice the two lines in the example above. You don't need a trailing new line, but you do need the two new lines between the triple backticks. You can achieve this by a new line by \n escape character. Here's an example. Okay. So we want what do we want? Complete a file prompt function. It should take the file dictionary and the toString function as inputs. So the function is toString. Two strings. Oh, it's toString. I got 2 phones. One for the bitches and one for the hoes. Alright, file. It's the input. Right, dictionary. And return a formatted string. The provided string function is converting the file dictionary. You don't need to implement it faster. Okay, yeah. However, your function should wrap the results of the toString in triple backticks to format it as a code block in Markdown. So this has to be, so we have to add like an F string. So it's gonna be like tick tick tick. How do I do that symbol? Oh, it's tilde. Tilde, wiggly bracket, and then like that. Should wrap the results of the toString function in triple brackets to format it as backcode. Okay. Notice the lines in... Okay, so we have to add in /n at \n. We want this one below it. So \n. And we want this one on a new line, so \n. Right? Stringified? Oh. I just put the function and the input in the return. That's fine. They just created a variable and put the variable in. Do 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 do. Can you imagine if Ninja had a low taper fade? Alright.
Anonymous functions. Anonymous functions have no name, and in Python, they're called lambda functions after lambda calculus.
Hey!
Here's a lambda.
This is what I was trying to figure out before too, like, I saw an example on Google, it was like, use lambda. I'm like, what the fuck is lambda? Somebody's like, you'll probably learn lambda later, don't really use it. Okay.
Function that takes a single argument x and returns the result of x plus 1. Lambda x plus 1. Notice that the expression...
Oh, I'm not listening.
Anonymous functions.
Okay, here we go.
Anonymous functions have no name, and in Python, they're called lambda functions after lambda calculus. Here's a lambda function that takes a single argument x and returns the result of x plus 1. Lambda x plus 1. Notice that the expression x plus 1 is returned automatically, no need for a return statement. And because functions are just values, we can assign the function to a variable named add1. Add1 equals lambda x plus 1, print add1 too. Lambda functions might look scary, but they're still just functions. Because they simply return the result of an expression, they're often used for small, simple evaluations. Here's an example that uses a lambda to get a value from a dictionary. Get age equals lambda name, Lane 29, Hunter 69, Alan 17. Get name not found, print get age, Lane. Assignment. Complete the file type getter function. This function accepts a list of tuples, where each tuple contains a file type, e.g. code, document, image, etc., a list of associated file extensions, e.g. py, js.
Okay, so complete the file type getter function. The function accepts a list of tuples where each tuple contains a file type, example code, document, image, a list of associated file extensions, py, js, docx, doc. First, use loops to create a dictionary that maps each file extension to its corresponding file type based on the input tuples. For example, the resulting dictionary might be doc text, docx, document, py, code, jpeg, image. Next, return a lambda function that accepts a single string of file extension and returns the corresponding file type. If the extension is not found in the dictionary, the lambda function should return unknown. I use the .get dictionary method to handle this. So get key, return the value for the key in the dictionary. Yeah, I've used get before. Okay. But it's a good tip. So, complete the file functions. Each tuple contains a file type. List of associated file extensions. Example, py, js, doc. First, use loops to create a dictionary that maps each file extension corresponding file type based on the inputs. For example, the resulting dictionary might be Can we just copy this dictionary and do like file types is equal to this dictionary? File type. Function accepts a list of tuples. So it's a list. Right? It's a list of tuples. So we'll make each one a tuple. Each tuple contains a file type, code, document, image. Code. Document. Image. A list of associated file extensions. Example .py.js. So, comma. The list of associated extensions. So code is just .py. Oh, JS. X. Doc. .jpeg. Right. Function accepts a list of tuples. So we've created 3 tuples in a list. File type code document image. Yeah. That's the key. Not the keys. And then the associated file extensions. .js, docx, JPEG. First, use loops to create a dictionary that maps each file extension to its corresponding file type. First, use loops to create a dictionary that maps each file extension to its corresponding file type based on the input tuples. For example, the resulting dictionary might be next, return a lambda function that accepts a string file extension and returns its corresponding file type. Use loops to create a dictionary that maps each file extension to a corresponding file type based on the insert input tuples. Next, return a lambda function accepts a string file extension and returns the corresponding file type. So it would be like get file type is equal to lambda. Hit file type. File type getter. Of the file types. Accepts a list of tuples where each tuple contains a file type, code, document, image, etc. Okay. Function accepts a list of tuples, so each tuple contains a file type, code, document, image. Let's associate file extension. First, use loop to create a dictionary that maps each file extension to its corresponding file type based on the input tuples. For example, the resulting dictionary might be so like extension to type is dictionary. That we're gonna fill. Extensions to type will be inputted extension. Is a list, right? List of associated file extensions. So we're going to input a list of extensions. So it needs to be like extensions. And we have to define extensions. So the inputted extension on the extension to type dictionary will result in the file type. Where you first use loops to create a dictionary that maps each file extension to its corresponding file type based on input tuples. Use loops to create a dictionary. Right, so we're creating the dictionary that maps each file extension to its corresponding file type. So for file extension. Ooh, why is this yellow? What if we label this like extensions? Or each file extensions. Oh, it's just yellow when I type it like that. File extensions. That's each file extension's corresponding file type. And file type. In the input. File extension tuples. So on the input, for example, use a loop of dictionary and match each file extension corresponding. So, and then for extensions in file extension. Okay, something like this. For file extension and type in file extension tuples in the input, and then for extensions in file extension. File extension type. Extensions list. Equals file type. file extension to its corresponding file type. Use loops to create a dictionary. So the extension is type. The type is the dictionary. The dictionary with the extension. So file extensions, file type in the input, and for extensions, file extension. Extension to type. Extensions input equals the file type. This will populate the dictionary, right? It's printing the dictionary of D doc.docs. O is doc.docs. C is .docs. I is JPEG.png. Okay, so printing the dictionaries. That looks good. Return a lambda function that accepts a string file extension and returns a corresponding file type. So return lambda extension. Which is like it accepts a string, a file extension, and returns a corresponding file type. So we need to check it against the dictionary we just made. So extension type dictionary. And the extension is not in the dictionary. The lambda function should return unknown. I use get dictionary method to handle this. Dot get key. Dot get. And our key is I think this is supposed to be extensions. Extensions. So our lambda extensions is get the extensions key in the extensions to type dictionary and return the value. How do we put this unknown in? This is not found in dictionary, should return unknown. The key is in the dictionary, else default. If default is not given, defaults to none, so that the method raises a key error. And the value of the key if the key is in the dictionary, else default. Else default. Default is not given, it defaults to none. If the value of default is not given, it will default to none. I got you. So that's where I think we put unknown, right? So comma unknown. So get lambda extensions is the key in the extensions to get, or get the get the value in the extensions to type dictionary with the key extensions. Else return unknown if there is no key and associated value. Expecting document actual unknown. Ooh, that's not good. Create a dictionary extensions to type dictionary that maps each file extensions to its corresponding file type. So file type, file extension. So for the file extension and type in the tuple, what's the order of the file extension tuple? The order is document, then docx and docx. So it's type first, then extension. Do I have to reverse these? Because the input is type, then extension. I have it as extension and then type. I don't know if this matters. I can ask the bear afterwards. This... What did I have? Extensions, right? File extension. For the type and file extension in the tuple, and for the extensions in the file extension, the individual, I mean, it should be individual extension, but I'll put extensions in the file extension. List. So this is for type and extension in tuple. And this one is for the extension in the list of extensions. Extension to types. It's the extension in the extension type dictionary equals the file type. That seems right. Is the lambda expression fucked up? Return lambda a function that accepts a string, a file extension. And returns the corresponding file type. The extension is not found in the dictionary. the lambda function should return unknown. Use .get method to handle this. Return a lambda function that accepts a string of file extension and returns a corresponding file type. So if we get the value in the extensions to type dictionary, we input the key, which is extension, and it should return the value, else return unknown. I really want to change this to extension now that it's for extension list of extensions. Right. Oh, so was the order of the file type and file extension here matters. Right? So if I had it reversed, put file type here, it doesn't work. No. Because the order matters of the tuple. Okay. That's what was breaking it. Oh. What for file type and file extension? Just want to see if it spits out that because the tuple has the tuple has a specific order. Why does the file type file extension have to be in that order? So unpacking each tuple in the file extensions tuple in two variables, file type and file extension. According to the lesson, the tuple contains file type first and extension second. If you were to do the other order, you're trying to assign a document to file extension and the extension to file type. Okay, yeah, that's what was happening. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't know you could do it like this for tuple and file extension tuples. For extension in tuple 1, which is the second position. Oh, you could do it like that. Because we did file type and extension of the tuple, which is 0 and 1 position. So what the solution is saying is that just take the tuple, and then for the tuple in the file extension tuple, get the for the extension in the tuple position 1, which is file extension direct exit tuple 0. Yeah, so in my case, comparing mine to theirs, file type is tup in the 0 position, And my file extension is two, and theirs is toop in the one position. Okay. And then what's the lambda expression look like? Yeah, it's the same. So the lambda expression is the same, but this is done. This one's done a little bit differently. This is one of the ones where I like to copy both of the answers because it's solution's a little bit different than what I wrote. And sometimes it's good to like look back at this and realize that I can write it a different way. Sometimes my brain just like doesn't process it that way.
First-class and higher-order functions. A programming language supports first-class functions when functions are treated like any other variable. That means functions can be passed as arguments to other functions, can be returned by other functions, and can be assigned to variables. First-class function, a function that is treated like any other value. Higher-order function, a function that accepts another function as an argument or returns a function. Python supports first-class and higher-order functions. First-class example, def square x, return xx, assign function to a variable. F equals square, print f5. Higher-order example, def square x, return xx. Def mymap, func, arglist, result equal for I in arglist, result.append func I. Return result squares equals mymap square 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Print squares 1, 4, 9, 16, 25.
Okay, I totally didn't listen to the higher order example because I was thinking of the first class example. So, define square x, return x times x, assign function to the variable, so say f equals square, and then print f function 5, which is f is equal to square, so square 5 is 25. Higher order example, square equals x, return xx. Define my map function arglist. Result is a dictionary. A list, rather. Dictionary squiggly lines, right? Yeah. For the I in args list, append function, append result, the function of I inputted to func, return result. So squares is equal to my map square and the lists, the result list arg. So square means x times x. And my map is iterating through each value in the list and squaring it. Okay. function that returns another function is a high order. Which is the higher order function in the second example? Square. Squares. My map. Function that accepts another function as an argument and returns a function. Accepting square. Ah. Let me go back to that real quick. It is my map because it accepts square 2, 3, 4, 5 in the example. Okay. Now can you explain why square isn't a higher order function? What makes it different? It's just a function, right? It's just a function that doesn't use another function. Okay, cool.
Map, filter, and reduce are three commonly used higher-order functions in functional programming. In Python, the built-in map function takes a function and an iterable, in this case a list, as inputs. It returns an iterator that applies the function to every item, yielding the results. Top map function. With map, we can operate on lists.
Add hello. Hello, Dale Cooper. Hello, Bob. Okay.
Without using loops and nasty stateful variables. For example, def square x, return xx nums equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squared nums equals map square nums. Print list squared nums 1, 4, 9, 16, 20.
Okay. With map, we can operate on lists without using loops and nasty state variables. What the fuck is map? And an iterable, in this case list, as input. Returns the iterator that applies the function to every item looking. Return the iterator applies to every function, every item on the iteratable, yielding the result. In addition to iteratables, arguments are passed. Functions must take that many arguments and is applied to the items for the all iterables parallel. With the multiple iteratables, the iterator stops when the shortest iteratable is exhausted. Okay. So it'll just go through the whole thing, whole list. I wonder how you tell it to stop. Maybe you can't.
5. The list type constructor, list, converts the map object back into a standard list. Assignment. Mark.
Yeah, I knew this list one. Because I went from... What the fuck was it? I went from set to a list, right? Because you are given a set that's not ordered, and then in order to order it, you
Markdown supports two different styles of bullet points. And we prefer, so we need a function to convert any bullet points to bullet points. Complete the change bullet style function. It takes a document, a string, as input, and returns a single.
Alright, the assignment I like to read myself because I can't follow it as fast as it's spitting out. Got the funky flow. You ever needed to be nice and friendly. Okay. Markdown supports two different styles of bullet points, minus and multiplicative. We prefer star, as I say star. So we need a function to convert any dash points into bullet points. Okay. Star bullet points. Complete the change bullet style function. Takes a document, a string as input. And returns a single string as output. The return string should have any lines that start with dash character replaced with a star character. For example, this bullet becomes multiply this bullet. Use a built-in map function to apply the provided convert line function to each line of the input string. Use .split and .join to split the document into a list of lines and join lines back together. This should preserve the original line breaks. Do not use replace string method. Examples of split and join. My document is a string with new lines, so you split it. Gives you the list of lines. And then to rejoin that, you would .join the list of lines. /\n. Okay, cool. So we need to replace minuses with multiplies. So if it's a string, we need to split it like this first. So lines list is equal to document dot split \n. So it's now it's split string into individual. Okay. We have to use map function iteratable. Star iteratable. What's star iteratable? Additional iteratable arguments are passed. Function must take the arguments and is applied from all iteratables. Okay. So map function iteratable. We're taking convert line and the iteratable is the list that we split. So lines list. Right? So the convert line function will change the bullets. So what should we call it, like finished converting is equal to map with the convert line function with the inputted lines list and then that would give us back a list of lines but with the right bullets. So this is iterate with map with function convert line over the lines list, essentially. And then we have to bring them back, so then we need to do rejoined doc or no, we can just return the backslash n dot join finished converting. Right. Return string from individual words. Like that. So they're just, backslash n dot join map convert line function with document dot split slash n. It's the same thing. It's just all written in one line. I think this is like Electric Callboy when I hear this song, but it's just like Vector Man. What's that song? We got the moves. Yeah, this one. Summer mood, hot sand under my feet. Hey, I can't sing. Cold beer, cheap wine. Yeah, that's all we need.
Filter. The built-in filter function takes a function and an iterable, in this case a list, and returns an iterator that only contains elements from the original iterable where the result of the function on that item returned true. In Python, def is even x, return x%2 equal big 0, numbers equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Evens equals list filter is even, numbers, print evens.
The built-in filter function takes a function that's iterable, in this case a list, and it returns an iterator that contains elements from the original iterable, where the result of the function on that item returned true. Is Palmer Del Cooper? No. Laura Palmer, true. Bob, no. Audrey Horn, nope. Leland Palmer, true. In Python, define is even. Return x boolean or modulo 2 equals 0 equals 0. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Filter function list of numbers. Provide a list. Print evens. Okay. So you can do that for odds and evens and shit. Okay. Or whatever your heart desires. So what's the difference between that only contains elements? Oh, it's a filter. Duh. Okay. Assignment. Complete the remove invalid lines function. Accept a document as input. It should use the built-in filter function in Lambda to return a copy of the input document. Remove any lines that start with a dash character. Keep all other lines on and preserving trailing new lines. For example, this should become that. Okay, so the split line method does not preserve trailing new lines. It may cause your output to fail the test. The following method might be useful. .join. Starts with ho. No, starts with H. Yeah, starts with O. No. Oh, okay, so we need to use a starts with dash. And split. Okay. We're gonna split and join. That's what we gonna do. So the document is the list. All right, so we need to split the list. But like before, like lines list is equal to document.split with new lines. That. What's the next? Use a built-in filter function and lambda to return a copy of the input document. So the filter function is takes the function and then the iteratable. So what's the function that we want to give filter? Remove invalid lines. Oop. I just forget how lambda is written. Starts with. Do I have to filter before I split? Remove any lines that start with a dash character. I have to remove first. So it's gonna be dot starts with dash. So remove line is equal to lambda I think we need to split first. It's not gonna go in. So it's like move. Lambda. Prefix start end. Return to your strings. Woo! Lambda parameters list colon expression. So, what's the expression? Don't want dot starts with dash. So, dot starts with dash. We don't want a line. This is saying that the line starts with a dash. This is saying we do want a line that starts with dash, so not a line that starts with dash. So we want to iterate through with lines that do not start with dash. And we want to go through the split document, which is lines lists. Filter, lambda name, length of the name greater than 3 names. So it should look like this. So like filter. It's not remove line, it's just like valid lines. Right, because we're ignoring lines that start with dash. So not those. Right, we're iterating through. So we're getting all the ones that don't start with dash. And then we're iterating through the lines list, which is the split document. Okay. Keep all other lines and preserve trailing new lines. And then just bring these back together with join. With that. Yeah, it's the same thing. They just wrote it in one line. Nice. Did I have a question about this? I feel like there's a question in there that I think it's just trying to have the lambda the line thing. I think I just have to get used to the formatting of lambda and the expressions list. So it's like flexible expression. Define lambda parameters. Like the parameters list, colon, expression. But how does it know that the line is the parameters list? I kind of just wrote it. How do you find parameters list for lambda? Lambda functions in Python are simple. Anonymous functions defined with lambda keyword. The parameters come right after the lambda keyword, separated by commas. followed by a colon, and then the expression that gets evaluated and returned. The basic syntax is parameter 1, 2 expression. For example, square lambda x, a lambda that takes one parameter and returns its square. So it's taking the line that does not start with a dash. Okay.
Reduce. The built-in functools.reduce function takes a function and a list of values and applies the function to each value in the list, accumulating a single result as it goes. Import functools from the standard library. Import functools def add sum so far x, print sum so far x x x. Return sum so far plus x numbers equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Sum equals functools.reduce add numbers. Sum so far 1x 2. Sum so far 3x as 3. Sum so far 6x 4.
Which is adds, because strings add together. So this would be 2 plus 1, which is 3, plus 3 is 6, plus 4, which is 10. 10 doesn't print, it's just the final result print. Okay. Complete the join and join first sentence functions. Complete the join and join first sentence functions. Okay. Join. This is a helper function we'll use in the join first sentences. It takes two inputs. Doc so far, accumulator string. It's similar to sum so far, variable in the example above, and a sentence string. This is the next string we want to add to the accumulator. This is like strings added together, comma, next string. Okay. It returns the result of concatenating the doc and sentence strings together with a period and space in between. For example, doc equals this is the first sentence, sentence equals this is the second sentence, print join doc sentence, this is the first sentence, period, this is the second sentence. So we just need to concatenate the two of them together with a period and space in between. So it's just an F string of doc so far and sentence. And then we need with a period and space in between. Like that. How do I, I'm not like good at printing. How do I print the, how do I print in Python to check it? So why doesn't it print out this F string? Okay, well, I think it's just the F string of doc so far and sentence with a period and space in between. I don't think it's like much more complicated than that. Okay, join first sentences. Accepts two arguments, a list of sentence strings and an integer. You should use the built-in functools.reduce function alongside your join function to return a single string. Reduce is just like this, right? Yeah. The result of joining the first n sentences in the list, it should also add a final period, but no trailing space to the end of the final reduced string. If n is 0, just return an empty string. Use list slicing to get the first n sentences, for example. Yeah, list slicing. That's what I didn't do on the answers to the previous ones. Okay, so if n is 0, return an empty string. N equals 0. Return. Just nothing, right? That one's easy to get out of the way. Slice. Use list slicing to get the first n sentences. So we need it in the second. Slice of S from I to J. We don't care about the start. Yeah, start and end with a step is the last one. So we need sentences. Slice. We don't care about the step. First end sentences. We don't care about the start. It's whatever, wherever it starts. And then to end. Right? Okay. Use list slicing to get the first end sentences. Okay. Should be built-in functions. Dot reduce function alongside your join function. So funct tools dot reduce. Function iteratable. So our function, let's say x is equal to this. Our function is join, right? You should use the built-in func.reduce function alongside your join function to return a single string. So we're going to use the join from above function and iterate over sentences from whatever start to end. So we need, so x. Set this equal to y. So this is return empty string. This is slice from 0 to n sentences. This is reduce, what's it called? Reduce function with join and x as inputs. Should also add a final period, but no trailing space to the end of the final reduced string. So return x, y plus a period. Add period. Add end of final use string. And then you could just push them all to level. Right. So you could write it like this. Func tools dot reduce join sentences. N. Right. We still need that if n equals 0. Oh yeah, and then add the period. Yeah, so func tools dot reduce join dot sentences with a slice to n plus the period. This one was a little bit different. Turn doc so far plus sentence. Oh, I just made it an F string. Actually, what is preferred in like this situation? However, there's a couple of things to double check. Double period issue. In the join function, you already add a period between sentences. Then you join first sentences. You add another period at the same time, return y plus. Could you result in necessary double period at the end of your join string? For instance, your input is I'm here, you're there, n equals 2. What do you think the output might be? Would there be an extra period inappropriately, such as I'm here, you are there? Oh shit. Edge cases. You have tested your code with edge cases, like when the sentences list is empty or n is greater than the number of sentences in the list. What would happen to, for example, with the following sentences, n equals 3? Would return the correct result on the edge case. So what's the issue with the period? That's the same, so that looks right. So it's this. My join thing is messed up, but it just happened to work through the tests. So this would be better. This works well. Now let's revisit the possible double period here. Since the period is already being appended to the join function itself, do you still need to append an additional period y dot period at the end of the first sentence? What would happen if your join function already ensures proper separation of sentences? Let's consider this scenario. Sentences, I am learning, coding is fun. What output would you expect with your current implementation? Does it handle the case correctly? You're confident in your luck, try running the tests for the edge case and verify your output. Let me know what happens. This would result in 2 periods, right? It would result in 2 periods at the end of 1. We can fix it so that the result doesn't include an unnecessary extra period. It would make sense to just join first sentences. Would it make sense to adjust the join first sentence functions to remove the dot period at the end, or do you think modifying join in a different way might be better? What would prevent the double period issue altogether? Removing it from join first sentences. With that, letting the join function handle all the period placement, you avoid all the necessary period. The updated join first sentence look like this. Don't need to add the period here. But then I need to change it in the join function. So just add a period here. I would need to add a period after sentence in my join function. Okay. Hold on though. What would happen if the approach adds a trailing period during every call of join within the reduced process? Would it create an issue with periods mentioning, for instance, sentences hello world would result in hello ... world due to pending periods? What do you think? You might handle it differently to avoid such duplication. Let me submit what I have now. See what he says. I'm not getting double periods on the results. This happens because giant function adds a period after each string, including the last one. To fix this, adjust the join function. Wait, this thing is having me go in a fucking loop right now. Now the join function handles the concatenating sequence joins, yeah. Once all sentences are joined, the final period should be explicitly added in the join first sentence as it was originally. Dude, why are you fucking with me? Okay, well. Whatever, brother.
Map, filter, and reduce review. Higher order functions like map, filter, and reduce allow us to avoid stateful iteration and mutations of variables.
I'll be right back. I gotta hit the head. Almost ate shit coming down the stairs. That would have sucked. I don't know how like stunt people like fall downstairs and stuff like that without getting hurt, seriously hurt.
Map, filter, and reduce review. Higher order functions like map, filter, and reduce allow us to avoid stateful iteration and mutations of variables. Take a look at this imperative code that calculates the factorial of a number. Def factorial n, a procedure that continuously multiplies the current result by the next number. Result equals 1 for I in range 1n plus 1. Result equals I, return result. Here's the same factorial function using reduce. Import functools def factorial n. Return functools.reduce lambda x, y, xy, range 1 n plus 1. In the functional example, we're just combining functions to get the result we want. There's no need to reassign variables or keep track of the program's state in a loop. A loop is inherently stateful. Depending on which iteration you're on, the I variable has a different value.
Which is the imperative way to apply changes to a list of items. A loop. What's the primary advantage of composing functions instead of using loops? DJ will be finally proud of you. Performance composing functions is faster. Avoiding statement mutations, which can be harder to debug for debug and reason about. State mutations.
Intersect. The dot intersection method calculates the intersection of two sets. The intersection of two sets is a new set that contains all of the elements that are in both original sets. For example, A equals 1, 2, 3, 4, B equals 3, 4, 5, 6, C equals intersection B, print C, 3, 4. Assignment. Complete the getCommonFormats function using the dot intersection method. It should take in two arguments, formats1 and formats2, each a list of strings representing the file formats supported by two different pieces of software. It should return a set of strings representing the file formats that are supported by both pieces of software.
All right, so we need to use intersection method. It should take two arguments, formats1, formats2, each a list of strings representing the file formats supported by two different pieces of software. So we get the common intersection. set and other, and turn new set with elements common to the set and others. Set and other. So we're going to compare one set to another set. Yeah, it's a list of string. So, set of formats 1. Dot intersection formats 2. That it? Zip.
Zip. The zip function takes two iterables, in this case lists, and returns a new iterable where each element is a tuple containing one element from each of the original iterables. A equals 1, 2, 3, B equals 4, 5, 6, C equals list zip AB, print C, 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6. Assignment. Complete the pair document with format function. It takes two lists as input, doc names and doc formats. Each list contains strings. The doc names list contains the names of documents, and the doc formats list contains the file formats of the documents. First, zip up the lists into a single list of tuples with the names as the first index, and the formats as the second index in each tuple. Next, filter the list of tuples to only include tuples where the format is one of the given valid formats. Return the result as a list.
Iterate over several iterables in parallel, including tuples with an item for each one. More formally, zip returns iterator of tuples where ith tuple contains the ith element from each of the argument iterables. Another way to think of zip is that it turns rows into columns and columns into rows.
You wanna be big, you wanna grow big. Revolutions all the time, people changing the world with crime, with violence and anger.
Strict equals false, what does that mean?
Find that ridiculous, if not meticulous. I do my best to guard my own premises. What's your name? What's your name, fool?
What's my name? What's my name, fool?
What's that sound? Who that be? Huh?
What's that sound? Who that be? Huh?
Where you come from? Where you come from?
Zip is often used in cases where iterables are assumed to be equal length.
You think you're big?
In such case, it's recommended to use strict equals true option. Its option is the same as regular zip.
Desire to grow back again?
It's my desire to grow back again.
You came to the right place. I'll make you big.
I came to the right place.
Unlike the default behavior, it raises the value error if one iterable exhausted before the others. Okay. So we have to do
Pull the lever or whatever. Right now. Right now. Let it make it quick. Hey,
the document's lengths are different. So default is false.
and now push the button.
Okay, so we don't have to do anything
Come on, you big
with that.
What's going on? What's going on? You're really scared.
SOS, SOS, please handle me with care.
Lifted, picking, you'll never see me scared. I'm straight up legit. Always in control, I patrol my hood. Taking care of business, stopping crime for good. I wasn't scared, you must have been dreaming.
You weren't scared.
Complete the pair document with format function. It takes two inputs. Doc names and format each list containing strings.
It's like a demon.
The doc names list contains
You are the Lord. Everybody knows
documents. The document format list contains.
All cash, money, and fame.
you got it all. Cash, money, and fame.
Now back to business. You wanna grow big, right?
Now back to business. I wanna grow big, right?
Let's not waste no time. Here we go, alright?
Let's not waste no time.
So I can do like
Alright?
zip dataset 1, comma dataset 2. So zip doc names and doc formats.
It'll never happen again. You promise. You promise.
Do anything, a hug, a kiss.
You'll do anything. A hug, a kiss.
I don't know what to do. It's all because of you.
You don't know what to do. It's all because of me.
I enjoy my size, my charm too.
You enjoy your side. Your charm too.
Put me back, son. Come on, I gotta go.
Put you back, son. Come on, you gotta go.
Or I'm gonna miss my favorite TV show.
Or you're gonna miss your favorite TV show.
That's our single list of tuples.
Hey, you're pretty mature than I thought. Good going.
Names is the first
But you're
index and
still
formats
bigger
is
than
the
your
second.
normal size.
You're right. Make me small again.
Now we have to filter the list of tuples to only include a format is one of the given valid format. So just like it's gonna be like a lambda filter like before. So format is like variable equals filter lambda I don't know, lambda doc. Where's the... Which is doc. And then we need the expression. Or test if else expression. So then, like, if the document is in head itchy. I just turn the heat on instead. Alright. Just talking. X. We have to give a position for X. The doc names list containing documents, and the documentation list contains the formats of document. First, zip the list into a single list, tuples, yeah. With the names as the first index, yeah. And formats as the second. Next, filter the list of tuples that only include tuples where the format is one of the given valid formats. Okay, so we need doc in the second position, which is a 1. Because we're going to need to check formats. Turn a list of Y. Expecting proposal, doc, contract, text. Actual error, filter expected 2 arguments, got 1. Filter expected 2 arguments, got 1. Function iteratable. It's not in X. Oh, I have to put valid formats in. So invalid is one given in valid formats and X. So those are the 2 arguments. Is that better? Okay, there we go. I wasn't passing it the valid formats. Yeah, that's what the issue was. Okay. Let me ask you a question to make sure you understand what's happening. Why do we need lists on both zip and the final result? what I was looking at, because they have list conversion before they get their variable. I was wondering why mine's different. This is the same, but I didn't have a list there. I actually don't know why mine went through correct. So why did mine work without list? For zip. The code works without using a list around the zip because of how Python's iterators work. Both zip and filter return iterator objects, not lists. The zip creates an iterator that filter can process directly. You only need to convert to a list as the final step. Okay. The function requires a list as a return value. Iterators can only be consumed once. If you had needed to use the zip result in multiple places, then you would need to convert it to a list first. Otherwise, the iterator would be exhausted after the first use. The solution is actually more memory efficient than doing list zip because it doesn't create an intermediate list. Does that make sense? Yes. Yes, thanks.
Restore. Doc2Doc needs a way to restore documents from saved backups. However, not all original documents may have backups, and some backups might be corrupted. Assignment. Complete the restore documents function in one line, if you can. It takes two tuples of document strings, originals and backups, as input and returns a set. Convert all documents to the same case with .upper for comparison. Filter out documents that are corrupted strings of random numbers with .EASDIGIT. Return the combined originals and backups tuples, removing any duplicates using a set. Tip: I used map, filter, and lambda functions to complete the function on one line, but it's split up by multi-line formatting for your readability.
Okay, so let's just break it down and then we can smush it into one line. Complete the restore documents function in one line if you can. It takes two tuples of document strings, originals and backups, and input and returns a set. Convert all documents to the same case, upper, for comparison. So use map and filter. So we want to map. The map iterates through everything, right? The map iterates on a list without loops. Okay. function iteratable. Iteratables. So we want to map upper lambda x in x dot upper, right? Like this. And then we need the lambda expression. Want a part of a list is or set display. Expression list containing at least one comma yields a tuple. We need originals and backups are tuples, right? So just is that originals? Backups. So we want original and backup tuples uppercased. The same case with dot upper for comparison. That work like that? Convert all documents to the same case dot upper. So map lambda x dot upper originals and backups. Okay. I'm just gonna write them all out and then we can smoosh them into one line later. Filter out documents that are corrupted strings of random numbers with is digit. filter. It's like a lambda statement again. Because you're saying X is like documents. Allow documents that are corrupt strings of random numbers with. How is digit word used? Oh, it just checks if it is a digit. So x dot is digit. Filter out documents that are corrupted strings of random numbers. So we don't want random numbers. We only want the non-random number, so not is digit. Okay. Return the combined originals and backups tuples. Removing any duplicates using set. So return set combine original and tuples backups. Isn't it just set Z? Set. Oh, it's like the...
I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at.
So I gotta compare the two sets.
Come from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little twat?
Return the combined originals and backups tuples, removing duplicates using set. So Z, comma Y. Filter expected 2 arguments, got 1.
Do you really think you'll survive in here? You don't seem to know which creek you're in.
With the...
Sweet corn is the only thing that makes it through my
Sorry, I keep doing this with filter.
How do you think I keep this lovely grin?
But the... Function iterable. Right, so that's function is the lambda. And then the iterable is we're going through the y. And then we just need to return the set z. Because this store documents lambda takes one potential argument, but two were given.
Now I'm really getting rather mad. You're like a niggly, tickly, shitty little tag nut. When I've knocked you out with all my bab, I'm going to take your head and ram it up my butt.
Your butt.
My butt.
Your butt.
That's right, my butt.
Ugh.
My butt. My butt.
Word documents, locals, lambda. Takes one positional argument, but two were given. Talking about line 2. But I want to run upper through originals and backups. So how do I just like add the tuples together? Oh, I can just use it. I can use it plus concatenate. So just plus? There you go. That worked. So lambda x for upper dot upper, and then the input is not input. The iterable is originals and backups added together. Then I'm gonna filter if it's not a digit on all the y's. Set that equal to z, set z. And then we're going to combine original tuples, removing duplicates using set. So then we run a set on z. So then what we're going to do is we're going to run this in place of z. And this in place of y. Clean it up. That should run. Yep. Nice. I got caught up on this. I forgot that you can add, just like straight up add tuples.
Pure functions are almost always a good idea, just like using tabs for indentation. And pure functions have two properties that make them pure. They always return the same values, given the same arguments, and they cause no side effects. Let's look at the first point. Here's an example. We have an add function that takes a and b as input and returns the sum. Now, no matter how many times you call add with the same arguments, you'll get the same result. I'll add with 2 and 3 1 trillion times in a loop, and you'll go crazy waiting for anything but 5 as the result. Now let's take a look at a similar but impure example. First, we'll declare a global variable called result and set it equal to 0. Next, we'll define a function called add2result. Now this one only takes one input, we'll call it a. The first thing it does is declare that the result value, or I should say the result variable, is a global variable. In Python, this is required just so that we're allowed to access that global variable from within a function. Next, we'll add a to the result and return that sum. Now, the interesting thing about this function is that every time you call it, even with different inputs, you could potentially get a different result. For example, the first time I call add2result with, say, the number 5, I expect to get back 5 because we're going to add 0 to 5 and return it. But if I call add2result again with the input 5, I won't get 5, and that's what makes it impure. Because the result variable now has 5 in it already, we'll be adding 5 to 5 and we'll get back 10. And this is why pure functions are so convenient to use in the majority of cases. Every time you call them with the same inputs, you expect the same outputs. You don't have to worry about there being hidden random number generators, the state of a database, or whether or not an internet connection is available in order for the function to work as expected. And because they're predictable, they're easy to test and debug. You can write an entire suite of unit tests for a pure function, and assuming they pass, you can expect, not just expect, but they will work the same way in production given the same inputs. If you've ever experienced the "well, it works on my machine" meme, that's not a problem with pure functions. Impure functions are the ones that made that meme popular. So if pure functions are so great, then why don't we just make all functions pure? Well, by definition, pure functions can't have side effects. And a program that has no side effects is effectively useless. It just makes your computer heat up, but to no result. If your program has no side effects, it can't even print to the console. It can't access the internet. It can't update a database. It can't even draw buttons on a screen. So what should you do? Well, my rule of thumb is I try to make as many of my functions that can reasonably be pure, I try to keep them pure. And I try to keep the number of side effects in my code contained to just a few places, usually somewhere near the top level of my code. That way, when other developers are working with my code, it's obvious where the side effects are, and everything else is fairly easy to test and debug.
Organization. Keep your shit in order.
Pure functions. If you take nothing else away from this course, please take this. Pure functions are fantastic. They have two properties. They always return the same value given the same arguments. Running them causes no side effects. In short, pure functions don't do anything with anything that exists outside of their scope. Example of a pure function. Def find max nums. Max val equals float natch inif. For num in nums, if max val num, max val equals num, return max val. Example of an impure function. Instead of returning a value, this function modifies a global variable. Global max equal float nice inf. Def find max nums. Global max for num in nums. If global max num, global max equals assignment. There's a bug in the convert file format function. Right now, it relies on data outside its own scope. These global values can be changed by other parts of the code, so they are not guaranteed to be the same every time convert file format is called. Fix the bug by making convert file format a pure function. It should only depend on data that is scoped inside of the function.
Current format equals file name split the period -1. If current format invalid extensions and target format invalid conversions current format. Return file name, replace current format target format. So we have this global value like this. We need to make it the argument needs to be in the function. We gotta get rid of, I think, valid extensions and valid conversions in the function. Or like the reliance on what I have highlighted. Can we just give it more parameters in the function? Just add the global variables to the parameters. Can you add global parameters to variables? So what I was thinking is like, can I just add that to this? Like valid extensions, valid conversions. Does that work? I might have to change something in here. If target format expecting traceback call last line 6 module. Convert file format missing 2 required positional arguments, valid extensions and valid conversions. Try like that. I know there's an issue with this, the global. Yeah, it modifies the global variable. Can I just add global variables? To the arguments? What they're called? Oh. Well, adding global variables as arguments would technically make the function depend on explicit inputs rather than implicit globals. That's not quite the spirit of pure functions. Oh. The issue with the current code is that the valid extensions and valid conversions are defined outside the function could be changed by other parts of the code. Notice how we test file actually does modify these globals. For a truly pure function, you want to make it completely self-contained. So just... oh. Bring it into the function. So you have a global variable that's being changed. You don't want that. If you want to change the variable, do it inside the function. Gotcha.
Pure function review. Pure functions have a lot of benefits. Whenever possible, good developers try to use pure functions instead of impure functions. Remember, pure functions
Pure thoughts, guys. Pure thoughts instead of impure thoughts.
return the same result if given the same arguments. They are deterministic. Do not change the external state of the program. For example, they do not change any variables outside of their scope. Do not perform any I/O operations, like reading from disk, accessing the
I
internet.
was
Pure
not
function
listening.
review. Pure functions have a lot of benefits.
Yep.
Whenever possible, good developers try to use pure functions instead of impure functions.
Right.
Remember, pure functions return the same result if given the same arguments. They are deterministic.
Deterministic, okay.
Do not change the external state of the program. For example, they do not change any variables outside of their scope.
Okay.
Do not perform any I/O operations, like reading from disk, accessing the internet, or writing to the console. These properties result in pure functions being easier to test, debug, and think about. Refer to the following examples and answer the questions. Example 1. Def multiply by 2 nums, products equal for num in nums, products.append num2, return products. Example 2. Balance equal 1000 cars equals def buy car new car, cars.append new car, balance equals 69. Example 3.
Ooh, 69.
Import random def roll die num sides, return random.randint or num sides.
Okay, so first one, good. Number 2, bad because there's global values outside of the function. Number 3, bad because you're importing from random. Example 1 is pure. It's pure cocaine, my friend. Example 2 is crack cocaine, my friend. Example 3 is... Wait, what else can you make with cocaine besides crack? Cocaine, drugs, drug types. Crack is made of crack cocaine. I mean, this is crack cocaine. Oh, you know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of like meth, but those are meths are made with methamphetamines. Import random meth impure. Okay. Just the tip.
Reference versus value. When you pass a
Sorry.
Reference versus value. When you pass a value into a function as an argument, one of two things can happen. It's passed by reference. The function has access to the original value and can change it. It's passed by value. The function only has access to a copy. Changes to the copy within the function don't affect the original pull. There is a bit more nuance, but this explanation mostly works. These types are passed by reference: lists, dictionaries, sets. These types are passed by value: integers, floats, strings, booleans, tuples. Most collection types are passed by reference, except for tuples, and most primitive types are passed by value. Example of pass by reference: mutable. Def modify list inner lst.append 4. The original outer lst is updated. Because inner lst is a reference to the original. Outer lst equal 1, 2, 3. Modify list outer lst. Outer lst equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Example of pass by value: immutable. Def attempt to modify inner num. Inner num equals 1. The original outer num is not updated, because inner num is a copy of the original. Outer num equals 1. Attempt to modify outer num. Outer num equals 1. Assignment. We have a way for doc2doc users to set their supported formats in their settings.
Inner list, modifiable list, inner list.append 4. The original outer list is updated because the inner list is a reference to the original. Gotcha. Modify function on outer list. You're gonna append a 4. Gotcha. But then attempt to modify outer number, right? It's only inner number plus 1. There's no inner number in this, so it doesn't do anything. Okay.
In memory, we store those settings as a simple dictionary. Settings equals docx, true, pdf true. In memory, we store the key of the original. Outer num equals 1. Attempt to modify outer num. Outer num equals 1. Assignment. We have a way for doc2doc users to set their supported formats in their settings. In memory, we store those settings as a simple dictionary. Settings equals docx, true, pdf true, txt false. Unfortunately, there is a bug in our code. When a new format is added or removed, it not only updates the new dictionary, but it changes the defaults themselves. That's not good. We want to create a new dictionary with the updates, not change the original. Fix the bug by making add format and remove format pure functions that don't mutate their inputs. Tip: simply assigning a new variable to an existing dictionary doesn't copy that dictionary, it points to the same dictionary. Instead, use the .copy method to create a new copy of a dictionary.
.copy object. Okay, so we want to add a new format. When a new format is added or removed, it only updates the new dictionary. It changes the default values themselves. That's not good. We want to create a new dictionary with the updates, not change the original. Okay, so fix the bug. By making add format and remove format pure functions that don't mutate their inputs. Tips: if assigning a new variable to an existing dictionary doesn't copy that dictionary, points to the same dictionary. Instead, use the .copy method to create a new dictionary. Alright, so we're gonna copy the default formats dictionary. Ooh. Copy. I'm going to set this equal to X. That's the copy of the dictionary. I'm gonna add a new format to the copy. And then returned the added copy. So X dictionary is a copy of the default formats dictionary. And then we want to add the new format into the X dictionary, true. And then return the X dictionary, which is the copy with the new format in it. Then for this one, it's just the same thing, but for remove. Right? Need to make a copy of the dictionary again. But they have to be pure. So I have to do it again. Right? Then this just becomes X. Right? Return X. But the X in here is pure compared to this X, which is pure too, but it's like under each function. Yeah. You could define x as a global as this value and then run these two, but then that would, if x is a global value, that means that both of these functions can change it, and we don't want that. Gotcha. Here, crying baby. Let's see. It's not sleeping. I always find it funny when I look in the crib and there's nothing there. I'm like, oh my god, where'd the baby go?
Passed by reference impurity. Because certain types in Python are passed by reference, we can mutate values that we didn't intend to. This is a form of function impurity. Remember, a pure function should have no side effects. It shouldn't modify anything outside of its scope, including its inputs. It should return new copies of inputs instead of changing them. Pure function. Def remove format, default formats, old format, new formats equals default formats.copy. New formats, old format, false, return new formats, impure function. Def remove format, default formats, old format. Default formats, old format equals false.
We just did this. Impure function. Return the inputted value. Gotcha.
Return default formats. Why do we care? One of the biggest differences between good and great developers is how often they incorporate pure functions into their code. Pure functions are easier to read, easier to reason about, easier to test, and easier to combine. Even if you're working in an imperative language like Python, you can, and should, write pure functions whenever reasonable. There's nothing worse than trying to debug a program where the order functions are called. It needs to be just right, because they all read and modify the same global variable.
Gotcha. A pure function can mutate its local value variables. Mutate its inputs? No. Mutate global variables? No. Call functions that mutate global variables? No. It's local shit. Changing its local shit's fine. Pure functions should be avoided at all costs, execute faster, are easier to debug, read, and test. I'm glad you're including more comments in your code, but it would be nice if there were comments about your code, or at least a bit less obscenity filled. Look, they say to write what you know. All the functions you've written, take everything past them and return it unchanged with the comment, no, you deal with this. It's a functional programming thing. Avoiding side effects. You avoid all effects. Only way to be sure. Same as it's always been.
Input and output. XKCD side effects. Comic by XKCD. The term I/O stands for input-output. In the context of writing programs, I/O refers to anything in our code that interacts with the outside world. Outside world just means anything that's not stored in our application's memory, like variables. Examples of I/O: reading from or writing to a file on the hard drive, accessing the internet, reading from or writing to a database. Even simply printing to the console is considered I/O. All I/O is a form of side effect. Assignment. In Doc2Doc, we frequently need to change the casing of some text. For example, title case. Every day once a day, give yourself a present. Lowercase. Every day once a day, give yourself a present. Uppercase. Every day once a day, give yourself a present. There is an issue in the convert case function. Our test suite can't test its behavior because it's printing to the console, a side effect, instead of returning a value.
Ew.
Fix the function so that it returns the correct value instead of printing it.
So just remove the prints. I can't copy images.
Should I I/O? A program that doesn't do any I/O is pretty useless. What's the point of computing something if you can't see the results?
I'm a functional programmer. What's that mean? It means he's scared of side effects. I am not. Ooh, print. Stop it, you're scaring him. My Patrick voice. What's that mean? Hey, SpongeBob.
In functional programming, I/O is viewed as dirty but necessary. We know we can't eliminate I/O from our code, so we just contain it as much as possible. There should be a clear place in your project that does nasty I/O stuff, and the rest of your code can be pure. For example, a Python program might read a file from the hard drive as the program starts, run a bunch of pure functions to analyze the data, write the results of the analysis to a file on the hard drive at the end.
Great, so it's like, get the leaves in your refined cocaine till it's pure. And then you take the cocaine and the output is elevated heart rate and a sense of euphoria. That's the impure part. I/O should be blank in functional programming, strewn all throughout the project. Only used when Simon Peyton Jones isn't looking. Limit to specific parts of code base. Who's Simon Peyton Jones? Simon Peyton. British computer scientist and researcher. Researches the implementation and application of functional program languages, particularly lazy functional programming. Oh, he's South African. 67. Limit to specific parts of the code base. Avoided completely. Limit to specific parts of the code base. From the user's perspective, a program with no I/O does nothing. No OP. You down with O? You down with OOP? I did not mean to click that. I gotta peace out here in like 15 minutes though. I have to go pick up some grocery pickup.
No-op.
I think.
A no-op is an operation that does nothing.
Yeah, I kind of got on a little bit late. Sorry, we'll be a little bit short today. Probably longer. It's probably longer yesterday, anyways. How long was I on yesterday? Hours, 20 minutes, but I fuck around for like 15 minutes with lunch, so.
No-op. A no-op is an operation that does nothing.
So it'll just be
If
like,
a function
I'll try to be on like a little bit longer. Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
doesn't return anything, it's probably impure. If it doesn't return anything, the only reason for it to exist is to perform a side effect. Example no-op. This function performs a useless computation because it doesn't return anything or perform a side effect. It's a no-op. Def square x, example side effect. This function performs a side effect. It changes the value of the y variable that is outside of its scope. It's impure. Y equals 5, def add to y x. Global y equals x, add to y 3, y equals 8. The global keyword just tells Python to allow access to the outer scoped y variable.
Oh,
Print.
interesting.
Even the print function technically has an impure side effect. It doesn't return anything, but it does print text to the console, which is a form of I/O. Assignment. Complete the remove emphasis from line, and remove emphasis from word functions. They are currently no-ops. Remove emphasis is the parent function. It takes a full document with any number of lines and removes any single or double characters that are at the start or end of a word. For example, this: I love Markdown. I really love Markdown should become I love Markdown. I really love Markdown. Write the helper functions. They will make the remove emphasis function much easier to write. The remove emphasis from word function should remove emphasis from a single word. The remove emphasis from line function should split a given line into words and use the function we just created to remove emphasis from each word. Don't forget to handle new line characters appropriately at the end of lines. Tips. For the sake of practice, try it without the replace string method. I use some of these built-ins: str.split, strip, map join.
Split just splits a string, right? Turns a list of words in the string, yeah. And then strip is the outside. The leading and trailing character is removed. But you can specify the character for strip, right? So strip, quote, in this case, is going to be stars.
Life's immortal lives expire. Souls go to their dooms in the lake forevermore.
Fools, how hard you have fought. Brave, but it's all
Characters are argument string specified to set characters to be removed. If omitted or none,
protected and caused.
characters to be removed. If omitted, non-characters are specified removing a white space.
No more deals, it's over.
So we want to
Final act, you're doomed. No more grace, it's over. This house of hope.
So So is it just strip? Touch strip. Just return word dot strip.
Life's all mortal lives expire. Souls go to their doom.
Should split a given line in words. Use the function we just created to emphasize each word. So words is equal to line dot split. Word is so inputs for map function iteratable map move emphasis from words that
Detected and lost.
return the joined words. How do I add a character for joined? It's in the front. Trying to put in like the backslash n. That's not it. Well, I gotta check my own notes. Dot join. We're returning the words into lines, so we just need a space. We don't need a new return on every line. Then remove emphasis from doc content. So split the lines. Split dot content into lines. So dot split. If we're splitting into lines, we want returns in between them, right? And we're splitting doc content. We need to, they'll make remove emphasis easier to write. Remove emphasis. So then lines are equal to the map, the function, and the iterable. Remove emphasis from line. The iterable is doc content. Is lines. And then return them joined back together. Turn the lines joined back together with \n. Alright, so the first one strips the stars. This one splits the lines into words and then strips the stars. And then this one splits the content into lines, which splits it into words, which strips the stars. And they're all pure because they don't call on variables from each other. Nice. Pure cocaine, baby. What are some games that come out recently so I can add some new music to this playlist? Recent. They released games. Popular. I guess it doesn't have to be popular to have good music. With music, with OST. Like, this one was good. This was from the Donald Trump Simulator 2025. Game is so simple. It's just a bunch of jokes about Trump being on Air Force One and doing dumb things. But, like, this song's awesome. Imagine if Ninja got a low taper fade. Look at the images for it too.
Memoization.
Memoization.
At its core, memoization is just caching, storing a copy of the result of a computation so that we don't have to compute it again in the future. For example, take this simple function. Def add xy, return x plus y. A call to add 57 will always evaluate to 12. So if you think about it, once we know that add 57 can be replaced with 12, we can just store the value 12 somewhere in memory so that we don't have to do the addition operation again in the future. Then, if we need to add 57 again, we can just look up the value 12 instead of doing a potentially expensive CPU operation. The slower and more complex the function, the more memoization can help speed things up. Note, it's pronounced memoization, not memorization. This confused me for quite a while in college.
Oh, memoization, not memorization, which is like remembering shit. Memoization, like a memo.
I thought my professor just didn't speak goodly. Assignment.
Goodly.
Counting the words in a document can be slow, so we want to memoize it. Complete the word count memo function. It takes two inputs, a document string, a memos dictionary. The keys are full document strings, and the values are the word count of the document. It should return two values, the word count of the given document, an updated memos dictionary. Here are the steps to follow. Create a .copy of the memos dictionary. If the document is in the memos dictionary, just return the associated word count.
Okay, so create a copy of the dictionary. So memos copy is equal to the memos dictionary copied. Memos copy 90. If the document is in the memos dictionary, just return the associated word count and memos copy. If document in memos copy, return the associated word count. Hold on a second. Word count. And memos copy. The associated word count. So that would be what part of the dictionary? The second spot in the memos dictionary. So we need to do memos copy position 2. What am I returning? Return the associated word count and the memos copy. Oh, this is for the document input. Okay. Right? Otherwise, use the provide word count function to count the words in a given document. Word count? Can't use a word count. Word count calc is equal to word count function on the document. Store the word count in the memos copy. So, storing it in memos copy of documents. Word count calc. Return the word count in updated memos copy. Cold, my nose is cold. This hood is shaped weird. Create a copy of the memos dictionary. If the document is in the memos dictionary copy, just return the associated word count in the memos copy. So, document in memos copy. No need to recompute. Otherwise, use a provided word count function to count the words in a given document. So word count calc is equal to the word count function of the document. The new document that's not in there yet. Then word count calc is equal to the memos copy. New document. Return word calc memos apply. Yeah, that looks right. Referential transparency. These are multiple choice. We can do these ones before I peace out of here.
Referential transparency. Pure functions are always referentially transparent. Referential transparency is a fancy way of saying that a function call can be replaced by its would-be return value because it's the same every time. Referentially transparent functions can be safely memoized. For example, add23 can be smartly replaced by the value 5. The great thing about pure functions is that they can always be safely memoized. Impure functions can't be because they might do something in addition to returning a static value, or they might return different values given the same arguments. Should I always memoize? No. Memoization is a trade-off between memory and speed. If your function is fast to execute, it's probably not worth memoizing because the amount of RAM memory your program will need to store the results will go way up. It's also a bunch of extra code to write, so you should only do it if you have a good reason to.
Okay. Which expression is not referentially transparent as the integer 5? Two string plus 3 string? Memoization. Memoization. Trades blank for better blank. It's a trade-off between memory and speed. Memoizing is like less memory. Less RAM, right? If your function is fast to execute, it's probably not worth memoizing because the amount of RAM your program will need to store the result will go way up. So you need more memory. Trades memory usage for better speed. All right, these are the optional challenges. I'm not gonna not do them, but I think I'm done for today. I gotta go get some groceries, run some errands for the wife. So have a good night. Stay safe out there. Don't do too much dumb shit. If you do dumb shit, do one dumb shit thing at a time. And I'll probably be on tonight playing some Kingdom Come Deliverance too. It's got its hooks back into me, and I just got into the new region, the second region of the game. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So have a good night. Peace. See ya. Oh, we'll continue on with this stuff tomorrow. Another like 4.5 hour chunk. Bye. Oh, Wagafa, I just saw your message. Sorry. I was a little bit mentally checked out before getting out. Yeah, it does. It's using Python, even though Python's not the optimal language for functional programming. But it's like the language that they teach you first. So they're like, fuck it, just use Python. Which I can't blame them. Alright, see you guys.